Morning everybody. Sorry, I'm 10 minutes late starting this morning. So I hope you're all well. What I just wanted to start with this morning is a big thank you to anybody who responded or kind of shared my video from last week. So my live talking about my story. I had an overwhelming response, so it was so lovely. Thank you so much to anybody who reached out and gave me any feedback on that. I really appreciate it. It was very lovely. So I'm very excited this morning. So excited to be launching my Surviving to Thriving programme on the 1st of July. So we've got sort of a week and a half to go until we start. I've got 2 VIP spaces left now and 3 group spaces. So, if you're wondering about whether to give me a call, do so. I'll put a link to the discovery call application within the comments below when I've finished. But yeah, do give me a call if you're interested in joining the programme at all. And we can just talk about, what fits best for you and just, work out if it is a good fit for you in the first place as well. Remember, with this intake of the programme, you've got 5 months, so you've got bonus month free basically. So you've got 5 months rather than 4, which means, extra calls and an extra month of support from me throughout as well. So, okay, so for those of you who don't know as yet, my name's Anna Rushmer. I'm a hypnotherapist and wellbeing coach. I am on a mission to help high achieving ladies, highly ambitious ladies who you're meant for more, you've got big dreams, but you're kind of feeling a bit stuck at the moment. Okay, so something is kind of holding you back, or you feel like you're taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back. You're just kind of feeling, you might be feeling exhausted, you might be fully in survival mode, and you're not really sure kind of which way to turn. So the reason I've put this program together is because that's where I was 14 years ago. So it's basically a program sort of condensing all of my knowledge that I've amassed over the years, what helped me, also obviously my hypnotherapy training now. So back in those days I was in a corporate job. Hypnotherapy helped me so much, had such a deep transformational impact on my life that I knew this is what I wanted to be doing as a job for myself at some point as well, to help other people. So it's learning from all of that journey, all of my journey, and condensing kind of 14 years of working through stuff into a 4-month program, 5 months on this intake. So I am running Facebook Lives weekly around 9:30 on a Saturday morning, a little bit late this morning, sorry, to just talk about the programme. So talking about different elements of the programme, but then also to do live trainings from sort of snippets of the programme as well, just to give you an idea really of what it's gonna work on and with. So today I'm going to look at the module that looks at love and relationships. Okay, so ladies, you've got these big dreams. You're meant to have incredible relationships in your life. So these can be with partners, obviously, or it can be family, friends, kids even. And if you're kind of finding that there are patterns that keep coming up within, it may be across all of those groups, but it may be a specific group. So whether that's patterns that keep coming up with partners or with kids, if you find yourself responding or being triggered in a particular way with kids, then there may be something to work on within that as well. So this module is about looking for those patterns. Okay, so remember, we'll have identified what you're looking for within your love and your relationships. We'll have worked through all of that in the first module, in the audit. So we'll have a very clear kind of focus on where we need to be. So this is about diving in to look at those patterns and see what's coming up for you. And you'll know from previous lives, that whatever the subconscious is focused on, which remember we're not going to necessarily know anything about, it wants to kind of keep recreating that experience for you, or it does. It doesn't want to, it just does. So it keeps recreating that experience for you, whatever it's focused on. So if there is a pattern coming up for you, there will be some kind of subconscious reason for that. So there will be some block, some limiting belief within the subconscious that is holding you back within that respect, within your relationships. And this module is also about connecting with yourself and learning to love yourself. So it is a cliche, but it's also very true. It's you have to really care for yourself, really love yourself before you're going to be able to create and have those incredible relationships, in your world. Okay, so today, as part of the love and relationships module, we're also going to look at, today we're going to look at the element around kindness, responsibility and boundaries. That is something that we'll go through within that module. So kindness, let's start with kindness. So you will no doubt have seen or heard, the research that's been done on random acts of kindness. So, if we perform a random act of kindness every day for somebody, whether that's a friend or a stranger, then it's been scientifically proven to boost our own happiness. Okay, and that's because the mirror neurons in our brain mirror the response from that person. So either seeing that response or imagining their response to us doing something kind for them will actually give us a shot of dopamine and serotonin and actually make us, feel happier. It's been scientifically proven that. Okay. Now, whenever I hear about a kind of the random act of kindness, or I see a post or anything about that, it always makes me wonder, for all of these people, I mean, it's a lovely trait to be doing kind things for other people, and we do get a boost from that. However, it does make me wonder as well, how many people are actually being as kind to themselves as they are to everybody else? Are you doing these acts of kindness from a place where your cup is full and you're being as kind to yourself and as caring to yourself as somebody else? Or actually, are you almost programmed to just give, which, essentially is going to be to your detriment, or can be to your detriment later on? Are you going to be in that space where you're constantly giving, you're constantly wanting to please people, but actually, you're heading more towards burnout if you're doing that? And this, this pleasing can be in a work sense, it can be in a friend sense, it can be family, partner, whatever, any of those levels. But it's really key to kind of check in with that and check that actually you are being as kind to yourself as others. So from my experience, I was definitely in a kind of people pleasing place, really. So I needed to kind of I needed to look at that behaviour and kind of unlock that behaviour. So I was so busy sort of giving energy, time to other people and being kind to other people, but then actually not showing myself that kindness and that respect, and actually kind of beating myself up just in my mind. And a lot of this can come from kind of programming as we grow up. So particularly with women, I think, but obviously men can feel this as well, but we are programmed, people generally I guess are programmed from an early age to kind of follow the rules, do the right thing, and I think I certainly had that you have to be a good girl routine going on. So it was from kind of school, from home, and actually going into the workplace as well. It's very easy to be programmed into that way of, you know, believing you have to behave, so you need to suppress maybe, you know, your own needs sometimes. I was going to say something else and I've just lost my train of thought there. But, you know, ultimately, you're going to end up running out of steam. If you're doing everything for everybody else and you're not giving yourself some of that kindness as well, you will run out of steam. So within the programme, we're going to look at actually being as kind to ourselves as we would be anybody else. So it's about self-care, making time for self-care rather than running around after everybody else. Loving yourself as much as you show other people, so that actually you can start to really benefit from that, you know, and actually just start to kind of slow everything down and kind of come from this place of flow where everything's, you know, you're feeling happier because you're actually taking time to look after yourself as well, and look after, you know, that inner child within you as well that we've talked about before. So then if we look at, there's something that I've missed out on kindness, but it will ping into my mind, I'm sure at one point I'll come back to it. So with responsibility, so responsibility in relationships, if we look at patterns that are coming up in relationships, if we can accept the fact that we are 100% responsible for what those, you know, those patterns that are coming into our life, if we can accept that, we can completely empower ourselves to work with that and actually kind of break out of that cycle. Okay, now I know I can completely understand that, you know, somebody telling you that you are 100% responsible for your relationships, you know, your life, that's quite a strong statement. I completely understand that. But actually, if you kind of, I mean, I had quite a strong reaction to that when I heard it, I don't know, 10 years ago or so, because somebody had actually been really quite rude to me within the last sort of day or two prior to reading that on one of my courses. And I remember thinking, well, hang on a minute, I'm not responsible for them speaking to me like that or being rude to me like that. But actually I am, you know, if there's some kind of limiting belief within our subconscious that means we don't think we're worthy, we don't think we're deserving of, you know, people being kind to us or showing us respect or whatever it may be, if we've got those limiting beliefs running, then those experiences will keep coming to our lives. Okay, so again, if you're seeing any patterns, any behaviours where people are, you know, being disrespectful to you, not treating you kindly, whatever it may be, again, if you've got any of the any patterns that you're noticing, then let's have a chat about it, because, you know, it's highly likely that there's going to be something in your subconscious that is attracting that. But also it's kind of gonna validate that feeling that's happening in your subconscious. So if, you know, somebody's being disrespectful or being unkind to you, you know, it's just compounding that message, isn't it? That, you know, that may be running in your subconscious of, I'm not worthy of people speaking kindly to me because they don't speak kindly to me. So it just keeps creating that cycle. Okay. I had to work quite a lot with this kind of responsibility. So there were limiting beliefs around sort of being abandoned, being rejected, safety, of course, because of my previous trauma kind of experience. So I'm talking about romantic relationships here. So I've had to work quite heavily with some of this stuff, and you know, it is a hard thing to really dig into and think about, you know, because we kind of think that people are rude to us as opposed to kind of for us and for our growth, if that makes sense. You know, so this is all about This is all about digging into what's coming up for you and actually working with that and empowering yourself to be able to work with that so that you can then make these changes. You know, unless we almost throw it all up in the air, we can't change. We're just going to keep going with these same patterns. We're not going to change our reality unless we dig into it and actually, you know, take full responsibility for this and actually work with it. So another thing with relationships, where again this is a sort of a taking responsibility, so relating it back to responsibility again. One thing which I found interesting to learn as well is if we've grown up in a let's say slightly dysfunctional kind of household, so whether that's, you know, really controlling, really critical, verbally abusive maybe, we are, because that becomes our norm, we are, unless we process that and sort of recognise it and work with it, we're highly likely to then end up kind of falling naturally into those kind of relationships ourselves. So, you know, again, if you find yourself in a relationship where it's like, I don't want this, you know, this is hard, this is controlling, this is disrespectful, you know, whatever it might be, it could be that we need to kind of unpick those kind of familiar patterns, those familiar feelings. So, for example, if you come from a very controlling household, you can naturally fall into a controlling relationship yourself, even though consciously you may well not want that, obviously. And we do that because it's kind of the norm, you know, it feels comfortable because that's what we're used to. And actually somebody then, you know, letting us have space, being kind to us, you know, because that's not our norm, that can actually feel a little bit unsafe in itself, you know, a little bit weird to us. I certainly pushed the good ones away over the years because of, you know, my kind of programming of not being good enough, not being deserving, you know, not being worthy of somebody being kind to me. That's you know, that's definitely a pattern that I had throughout my growing up years that I needed to work with hypnotherapy. So then the last point today that we'll cover is boundaries. Okay, and boundaries are super key to growth. So we have to have strong, clear boundaries for ourselves to really, you know, show ourselves respect, really. So I saw a post the other day, which was along the lines, it was a Facebook one, it was along the lines of, you know, you can show other people kindness and love, but from a place of having really strong boundaries. And that's so true. You know, going back to the kindness, we can't give all the time and just keep accepting people's crap. You know, you can't do that and then expect to feel in that place of inner peace, happiness, fulfillment. It's you know, that's not going to be possible. So the boundaries one is interesting. So all of this can throw up a lot of guilt. It can, you know, it can make us feel selfish, trying to kind of put all these things in place for ourselves, but it's so key for our own growth to be able to do it. And we will cover those kind of feelings of guilt, of selfishness, and we'll unpick those. We do that we do guilt in the 4th module, I think, and we will have unpicked, or we will unpick those as well. So, you know, if the thought about taking time for yourself makes you feel super guilty, I completely understand. I get it. You know, we are programmed to think, particularly mums, I think, that we should be doing something for somebody else, and actually, you know, taking half an hour out to do a meditation, or even 15 minutes or whatever, or just lie down, you know, not talk to anybody and just lie down. Or we can't do that because that's, you know, that's being selfish. That makes us feel guilty. So we will cover that as well. So boundaries. So I have had to set a fair few boundaries over the years. So, growing up, there was, on one particular side of the family and inherited family, there was, you know, quite a lot of crossing boundaries, anger, disrespect. You know, there's quite a lot of things going on, and actually I didn't really realise actually that I needed to deal with that, work with that, until I was in my 20s, probably late 20s, something like that, and I started then. And honestly, that was one of the best things I did, because now I have enabled myself to have, you know, much healthier relationships with those people. But it's not, you know, it isn't easy. And this is the bit about, you know, whilst you're on the program, I'm there to completely support you through this, because, you know, we kind of grow up thinking that we can't speak to somebody like that, we can't express our opinion or our emotion about that, you know, sometimes, not all the time, obviously. So actually we're kind of, you know, spending our life like suppressing ourselves rather than being our authentic selves. And inside you might be screaming, don't talk to me like that, how dare you, but on the outside it's like, slope off, you know, you have to just kind of get on with it. So with setting boundaries, the space I got into, because it had got to the point where it was, you know, getting ridiculous basically, and I just had enough. So I got to the space where it was like, right, I need to deal with this now. I'm going to deal with this now. And then, you know, you have to almost understand that whatever happens, the right people will remain on your path as you go through life. So it may be that you need to shed friends along the way. I certainly did. It may be that, you know, you have to be bold, you have to be brave, and you have to, you know, say to members of your family, you know, work colleagues, whatever it is, you know, I don't appreciate you speaking to me like this. This makes me feel blah, blah, blah. You know, and actually being bold enough to say those things, but also then understanding that kind of whatever comes of that, the right people will stay on your path longer term, if that makes sense. So that was one thing that I kind of had to think about quite a bit. So almost but if I do that and then, you know, I never see them again, oh, that's a bad thing. But actually, you know, that's almost, you know, potentially that's catastrophizing the situation as well. But, you know, it's thinking about all sorts of different outcomes, isn't it? But actually what's happened in my situation, well, I think if you think about, you know, who stays on your path, you've got to think, okay, well, that would be okay then, because actually I've got to the point where I know that I deserve more respect, more kindness, whatever it is for you, than being spoken to like that or being treated like that by that person. So actually, if it's a case of either having this or them disappearing, then actually I'm okay with that, because, you know, this is the path. I want to continue. I want to go on this path towards that inner peace and that happiness and that fulfillment, and that's not going to happen if you've got somebody in your ear running you down all the time, or, you know, whatever behaviours they are. What actually happened with my situation is it did blow up, it did get frosty. We didn't talk for a space of time. I have lost friends, and I've, you know, friends have gone, and that's you know, that's absolutely fine. That was meant to be, you know, that happens. But what happened with family is that it then it didn't actually take a huge amount of time. It took a little bit of time, but actually we then have got the relationship back to actually a space where it's very healthy. It's very healthy for me. It's very respectful. You know, it's supportive, and it's, you know, absolutely in a much better space than it was, than it ever was for years. So again, we will cover all these aspects of kind of putting those boundaries in place, the responsibility bit, the kindness. So all of these things in terms of, you know, helping you to grow. So helping you to unlock the things that are holding you back, the patterns, the thoughts, the feelings that are holding you back. So, you know, if I say to some ladies, okay, I need you to take 15 minutes out each day to just lie down and do nothing, you know, just be completely selfish. You know, if I say to them, how does that make you feel, me saying that, there can quite often be, you know, some guilt coming up or whatever it may be. So we'll look at all of those patterns that are coming up for you, so that actually you can start caring for yourself as much as you do everybody else in your life, and, you know, work as hard for yourself in terms of like caring and development as you do everybody else. You know, this isn't about just giving all the time. You've got to give yourself, you've got to love yourself, you've got to be there for yourself and support yourself and take full responsibility for your life. Okay, so you know, to grow, to get out of this funk and this like survival mode and being stuck, we know that we need to take 100% responsibility for that, for ourselves. And again, this is another thing that I talk with my clients about. So I can't make anybody, you know, get anywhere. I can't be responsible for you, for your growth. That's completely within your hands. And I absolutely know that any of my clients that join my program are completely there. You know, they know this, they know they're completely responsible, and they're 100% committed to doing this work, you know, and they're getting amazing results. And previous clients have got amazing results. Lost my train of thought again, sorry. So yeah, so I am there from a point of, you know, guiding you and supporting you, and I absolutely, you know, I'm there 100% to do that. So that's really key for me, that, you know, my clients doing this program do not feel like they're on their own at any point, because it's really key for me to know that you feel completely supported, and I'll guide you through the whole program, you know, all the way. So any questions, by all means, just drop me some comments. I will put a link to my discovery call, to apply for a discovery call with me. The program is so the program is on 3 different levels. Each level will have all of the 8 self-study modules to work through. So these are online modules with hypnosis recordings alongside those. So each one will have, everybody will have all of those modules to work through kind of in your own time. And then each group will have, has full support from me, so can email or messenger me at any time as we go through the program, and then also will be part of a Facebook group and community equally of support. So a small group with like-minded ladies, so, you know, you can reach out to them for inspiration, support, you know, you've got support there, you've got support from me, and then you've got all the transformational modules to work through. Then we go up to the next level up is group, so you will spend some time with me on a one-to-one basis, and then you will work within a group. So the group is an intimate size of 2 or 3 ladies in a group working with me, and then we'll work through, you know, whatever's coming up. Basically, we can work through along with the modules. If there's something specific coming up for the group, then we can work through that. And those mastermind calls are fortnightly, so we'll, you know, every fortnight we'll have this get together, and we'll have this we'll spend this time together to work together. So whether that's hypno, visualization, coaching, you know, whatever shape it is, we will use that time as a group, and we'll work out what we want to do, what you want to do within each group call. Then the next level up is the VIP level. So this is where you'll spend the most time with me. So this is where you're going to get the real kind of bespoke, deeply transformational work coming through, because this is completely one-to-one, so it's completely private, confidential. You know, everything within the groups will be confidential within those groups, but obviously you're working with other people. So with the VIP, it's just completely one-to-one time with me, and this is all an online program, so it's not location specific at all. Okay. So have I missed anything? So we've got those 3 levels. The next intake is coming in the 1st of July. And as I say, we've got 2 VIP spaces and 3 group spaces left on that one. And this intake runs for a total of 5 months rather than 4. You've got a bonus month free. So that will mean, you know, extra group calls, extra time with me to, you know, to work through at a pace that's good for you, because this is about kind of settling down into that coming out of that hustle mode. So, you know, when we're in our corporate jobs, we're very used to being in that sort of hustle, kind of push, prove, determine, keep working, you know, working harder and harder, and that is what, you know, can ultimately lead us into burnout, along with, you know, all the stuff that's running around in our minds as well. So this is about sort of working from a place of, or learning to work from a place of flow. So slowing everything down, working from a place of ease, getting into alignment, you know, having fun with it as well. That's really key. So this is all about, you know, there will be discomfort along the way, because, you know, any kind of growth, you have to be prepared for discomfort. But this is about, you know, kind of throwing things up in the air and actually coming out the other side, feeling that kind of inner peace, that happiness, that fulfillment that is the thing that's lacking at the moment in your lives, and you know, achieving those big dreams. And I was completely in that place 14 years ago, which is why I kept striving to find the right thing that worked for me, which thankfully hypnotherapy was, because I knew that the life that I've now got, you know, which is feeling excited, being aligned, you know, feeling happy, feeling joyful, feeling like you're kind of in harmony. I knew that was there, but I also knew I was a really long way away from it. So, you know, this is what this program is designed for. With that, there will be discomfort along the way, but actually it is, you know, we need to create that discomfort, to create that to enable that growth to actually change our reality. Okay. So any questions to any of this, anybody watching it on replay, just write replay, and then write me a question. Any questions, any comments, you know, please do send them. I'll put a link to my discovery call, to book a discovery call with me. The next intake, as I say, is in about 10 days or so. So you know, by all means, book a discovery call with me for next week, and we can get you all ready to enroll. So I hope that's been useful to you guys. Fire any questions my way, or private message me as well if you'd rather. That's absolutely fine, of course. And I will speak to you next week. So have a lovely weekend. Thankfully the sun is out again, so I'm going to go enjoy that. So take care, everybody. Thanks very much. Bye bye.